Hello YouTube, fairly new writer here. Started out with the Sena 20S because some friends of mine that I rode with in the beginning used the Sena 20S. The intercom is nice, we could talk while we're riding. I also have an extra that goes on the additional helmet I have in case someone's riding with me on the back. It also pairs up very nicely with the iPhone. It lets me listen to my music, make phone calls, and send text messages using Siri. But what happened is I started writing with a bunch of guys that use Chatterbox. Chatterbox is another communicator that uses GMRS frequencies, and I didn't want to give up the 20S and switch over to Chatterbox, so I started looking for a solution where I could speak with the guys via my 20S. The 20S advertises that they work with other models and brands, but I just could not find out how I could hook up with the Chatterbox unit to unit. So I even borrowed a friend's Chatterbox unit and wasn't able to figure it out. So what I found out via YouTube is that there is a walkie-talkie called the MU350R that is Bluetooth. And this walkie-talkie uses GMRS frequencies. So as long as the Chatterbox and the MU350R were on the same frequency, we could talk to each other. So the MU350R is paired with the Sena 20S, and I'm able to communicate that way. What became a nuisance though is I had the MU350R mounted on my RAM mount on my handlebars, and every time I wanted to talk I had to reach up and hit the PTT button. As you can imagine, that was kind of a nuisance because I wasn't always in position to reach up and hit the PTT because I had to let go of my handlebars to do that. So if I was in a turn or in the middle of a shift, I wasn't able to do that. So what I did find is Motorola makes a Bluetooth push-to-talk button. Model number is 1693. It works pretty well with the MU350R. I originally put this in my pocket when I first started riding, but I also found that as a nuisance because when I wanted to talk, I had to take my hands off the handlebars and reach and depress the push-to-talk button. So what I did is I got one of these cramp busters. These are normally used on the throttle hand for folks that don't have cruise control. It helps them rest their hand when they're on a long trip and they're not having to adjust their throttle too much. So I took the cramp buster and I velcroed the push to talk onto it, and I put it on my clutch side, and I'm able to hit the push to talk. It's in a pretty good position for me, so it does work pretty good. You do have to charge it. The charge lasts all day, but it is another device that you have to charge. But there was one issue with it that started to bug me, because some of the rides that I started to ride with, there'd be 6 or 7 of us all talking, sometimes more, is this little delay in the push to talk. So here I hold it, and then it takes a few seconds before it allows me to transmit. So that worked well, except that delay started to bug me, so I started to look for a cheap solution, wired solution that would fit into the Motorola radio. What I found was this SR10, excuse me, Sena SR10 has a push-to-talk that you can purchase separately. So my hope was that I could just take this sucker and then plug it right in here and start using the wired push-to-talk. But of course that didn't work because the pin for the Sena 20S, excuse me, the Sena for the MU350R, the pin for the MU350R is different than what comes on the SR10 push-to-talk. So I have a buddy that knows quite a bit about this stuff, and what he did is he made me this little converter. All the technical stuff he took care of, and all I have to do is plug this in, run it through the conversion, and now I have my wired PTT using the SR10 push-to-talk. And as you can see, it's instantaneous. And this rubber ring goes around my grip. I can adjust the position of it so I can put it in a comfortable spot. And the coiled cable is also very nice because I can wrap it around and maneuver it to my MU350R. So that's my solution. If you have a Sena 20S and you want to talk to guys on Chatterbox, get yourself an MU350R by Motorola, a push-to-talk for the SR10 from Sena. Have somebody figure out how to make that conversion cable, and you'll have a pretty good solution to talk to the Chatterbox. You can also use the Motorola push-to-talk from Motorola 1693 push-to-talk. If you can deal with the little bit of a delay there, that's also a fine solution.